Today on the Travel Magazine, we visit the picturesque city of Cuernavaca, Mexico. Once there, we'll stop by the city's historic cathedral and look around its former convent. Then, we'll navigate the natural spring waters of Las Estacas Park and tour the art collection of the Robert Brady Museum.
Adelante! Yay!
After we get a chance to run the rapids. But first, we travel to the ruins of Xochicalco and enjoy the beautiful gardens at Hosteria Las Quintas, where I get the spa treatment. We'll be in Cuernavaca for the next 3 days enjoying the benefits of this spa community, and it all begins with a stay at the Hosteria.
Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Gustavo.
I'm Sandra.
Welcome at Hosteria.
Thank you.
Hola, bienvenidos a la gente de Travel Magazine, bienvenidos a Cuernavaca, Morelos.
Cuernavaca is located 90 kilometers south of Mexico City, and it's the capital of the state of Morelos. Many visitors to Cuernavaca have been so taken by its beauty and temperature, they decided to stay. Perhaps the most notable, Hernán Cortés, the famous Spanish conqueror. His former palace, built in 1530, is now the city's museum. Close by, the modern Cuernavaca is bustling with people and activity. It's in this part of town where you'll find some examples of beautifully designed wrought iron windows and doors. A welcome relief from the traffic is the tranquil Hosteria Las Quintas. The grounds, fountains, and landscapes set a peaceful tone. The interior of the hotel is lavish. Each room is spacious and distinctly its own. Some are available with terraces facing the gardens. An old-world ambiance is maintained by the tile floors, wooden furniture, and a simple yet elegant layout. From the moment you enter the hotel, you begin to feel relaxed, surrounded by such beauty.
Everybody wants to return because he finds in this hotel relaxing, tranquility, peace.
A stroll around the gardens is a great opportunity to enjoy a romantic and peaceful setting of flowers, trees, and some truly beautiful statues. Rising above the city is the single tower of the Cathedral of Cuernavaca. It provides a safe sanctuary for the unadorned wooden carved crucifix hanging above the altar, a reflection of the building's style. Simple, yet strikingly austere. Ludwig, the Cathedral de Cuernavaca is so primitively beautiful. When was it built?
It was built in the year 1529 by the Franciscan order. They use native handwork to build it. It is in a, could say, Romanic style and a little bit also of Gothic.
The murals that we see inside the church, what is the story telling us?
The story is telling us the story of the only saint, Mexican saint, called Saint Felipe of Jesus, that went to Japan. He died there and he made the first Christian martyr in Japan.
Ludwig, this convent behind the cathedral is now used as offices for the Bishop of the State, but what was its purpose back in the 16th century? We're looking down on the main floor.
Yeah, as you can see, there is two floors. The first floor was used for the common activities of the friars, such as eat or such as teaching people about Catholic origins, about Spanish, about whatever. And also it was used for the pilgrims, to welcome pilgrims. And we have the second floor. We have some rooms where they used to sleep, and also a library.
We're surrounded by an open-air structure beside the cathedral. What was this used for?
It was called first the open-air chapel. It was used first by the friars because the native people were not allowed to enter, were very afraid to enter inside because in the pre-Hispanic time, the temple was just reserved for the priest, and also they were not baptized. So the friars decided to build this open-air chapel and teach people from this very nice area.
The structure actually looks like a fortress.
That's a fortress, like symbols, you could say, of the fortress of the regions. It was not really to protect themselves, it was more like these symbols, and also to impress people, to make sure that the new religion is here and it's very secure religion and they can go here without fear.
Although an historic site, the cathedral is fully functional, a place where many people still come to worship and maintain their traditions. In a busy and modern Cuernavaca, this is still the center of the community and a place of immense faith. Incredibly, a portion of the Cathedral de Cuernavaca was actually sold after the Revolution in 1910. Then it was bought by American millionaire Robert Brady in the 1960s. It became his own residence and home to his magnificent art collection.
This was Mr. Brady's living room. We're in the old section of the house that was built in the 16th century. And first of all, we have the star of the collection, which is a self-portrait of Frida Kahlo. Mr. Brady acquired this painting in 1965, before Frida was so important in the art world. He was a very good friend of Josephine Baker, the American dancer and singer who was so famous for dancing with her banana skirt. She adopted 12 children of different nationalities. So on one side of the table we have Josephine Baker, on the other side an African fertility goddess. This guest room, called the Oriental Room, was designed by Brady in honor of Josephine Baker. Actually, she loved Oriental art, so we see this wonderful array of colors, combination of fabrics, Mexican bedspread, cushions from Morocco. And next to his bed, there's a painting of an old lady. He used to tell everyone was actually his mother. But it's an 18th century painting by Flemish artist Mengs, so it is not his mother. Robert Brady loved food, although he never did any cooking himself. He had a series of cooks in the years that he was here, but he decided to immortalize his favorite cook, Maria. Maria was originally from Oaxaca. There are people who can still remember coming to this house 30 years ago and enjoying Maria's food. In Mexico, there is a cooking saint. His name is San Pascual Bailon. And according to the tradition, if you have an image of the cooking saint directly over the cooking area, the cook will always be inspired.
Brady collected more than 1,300 pieces of all different styles, and they adorn every room, including a guest sitting room, and even the bathroom decorated in Haitian art. Of course, what modern museum would be complete without its own pool? The Brady House is possibly the most personal and colorful museum I've ever seen. When we return, we visit Las Estacas Park and the pyramids of Xochicalco. Then we'll brave the rapids. Before I test the spa at Hosteria Las Quintas. Coming up next on the Travel Magazine, we'll take you on a tour of the pre-Hispanic city known as Xochicalco, so stay with us. Welcome back to the Travel Magazine and day 2 in Cuernavaca, Mexico. We begin the morning at the Hosteria Las Quintas, where guests are serenaded during breakfast. We now head to the beautiful Las Estacas Park, 36 kilometers east of Cuernavaca. Sugarcane fields surround us along the way. The farmer is tending to his fields just as it's been done for generations. They seem virtually untouched by the modern world, as are the waters at Las Estacas.
Las Estacas is an ecological reserve spanning 24 hectares. It is so peaceful gliding down the shallow river fed by a natural spring.
The clean and clear waters are said to be capable of healing. While slowly drifting along the water pathways, I start to believe the myths are true. Your worries seem to drift away while you're enveloped by the serenity and beauty of Las Estacas. On the park's grounds is the towering Amatea tree, nearly 1,200 years old. The tree is known for being the subject in some of the paintings by Diego Rivera. Besides swimming and rafting, the park is beautiful just to walk around in, thanks to some well-placed bridges. Standing here above the waters, you can catch other guests snorkeling. Las Estacas is the busiest on weekends. Families make the trip to come relax, swim, and play in the waters. Or perhaps to learn how to raft. No matter what your age, you don't have to look hard to have fun here. The source of the park's water is here, where 7,000 liters of crystal clear water jets out per second. An awesome feat given it's a natural process, and better still, no water bill. Our next stop outside of Cuernavaca is Xochicalco.
Built in 700 AD, Xochicalco replaced Mexico City's Teotihuacan in terms of importance. It was here where many Indian tribes met to trade and discuss the calendar, but it was abandoned by 900 AD.
This ancient city is built on a number of hills that peak 200 meters above the valley below. What's interesting about the overall design is how the ground was reshaped around the buildings. The fusion of architecture and nature shows the affinity the builders felt with the land around them. Though the city was only inhabited for 200 years, in that time it was the cultural capital of Mesoamerica. Politicians, scientists, and military leaders came here to meet and discuss their empire. As you walk around the site, you soon come upon its most striking building. The Pyramid of the Plumed Serpent is distinctly decorated with carved hieroglyphics, 8 giant serpents covering the majority of its surface. More than just decoration, the carvings were integral to the workings of the Mesoamerican calendar.
In the west side of the pyramid, in front of this very nice body of the snake, this snake that's a little bit different of the one of Teotihuacan because he had human teeth, and also the fire, the top of the head, the wind with the barb, we have the shell that represents the waters, and the body itself that represents the ground. But the most important here is a change of calendar. The change of calendar that we can see here, we have what we call a glyph, that's a number of the calendar, and this is the new one, and we have the old one here. We have 2 hands of each side, one with a cord. The cord is pulling this number and change it for this one. We think it was in the year 743 after Christ.
Unfortunately, over time, parts of the temple have been worn down and destroyed. With these hieroglyphics missing, it's difficult for historians to decipher those remaining. Though some questions may be forever unanswered, enough of the Pyramid of the Plumed Serpent still remains to allow us an insight into the lives of the people who built it. Besides creating and developing a calendar, Xochicalco scientists also studied the sky.
The people of Xochicalco were amazing mathematicians, but they were also astronomers. They actually built an observatory in this cave that would determine their life cycle. Once inside, the priests would gather, and under pools of water, they could actually study the stars, the moon, and the planet Venus. During the day, the position of the sun would help them determine when to plant and when to harvest.
Life in Xochicalco wasn't all work. This is where ball games were played. Players using their knees, hips, and elbows would try to get a rubber ball into rings like this. Though at one time, it was attached to the wall, which presented more of a challenge. The symbolism of the game was that the ball was the planets and the court the universe. This illustration is a representation of what the game may have looked like, and the angle and height the ring was fixed at. Notice how it was set vertically. With one last look at Xochicalco, it's easy to see why this impressive site is considered one of the most important archaeological finds in Mexico. Important in the scientific and cultural development of Mexico, it's also an example of how a people could embrace the land they lived in. When we come back, we'll visit some less tranquil waters, followed by a much-needed visit to the spa at Hosteria Las Quintas for some special treatment.
We'll be back with more of the Travel Magazine in Cuernavaca right after this, so stay with us.
Welcome back to the Travel Magazine in Cuernavaca, Mexico. Known as the land of eternal spring, the city is surrounded by many rivers snaking through lush vegetation. Day 3 of our stay, we visit one of these rivers to do more than just sightseeing.
Half an hour from the pyramids of Xochicalco is the Amacasac River. Older than any civilization, a 50-kilometer river raft ride provides the ultimate eco-adventure.
Okay, Sandra, welcome to the Amacasac River.
Thank you.
I will give you the jacket, okay? When I need to turn very quick, okay, you need to put the picture in your bag.
Helmet.
We give you 5 orders how to rafting. The first one means adelante, is in front. Do it like this and hand like this. Use your body. Do it. Okay, adelante. Y la quinta. Yeah, the 5th order is stop. Alto.
Okay.
Yeah. Vámonos de aquí.
That means let's go.
Once the quick lesson is done, it's right out onto the water. But they go easy on me with level 1 rapids. This ride is definitely as exhilarating as it looks, and it's a lot of fun. The scenery surrounding the river is gorgeous, but you better look fast, otherwise all you'll see is a blur.
That was the best ride yet, Pete. I think I'm aliante'd out, but that was amazing. What do you think, guys? Ready for level 2?
Yeah!
Okay.
After our little adventure, it's off the river and back on the roads to downtown Cuernavaca. Now I actually have the chance to take a look at the beautiful scenery. Once in the city, we head back to some much-needed peace and quiet at the gardens of Hosteria Las Quintas for a little relaxation.
For centuries, Cuernavaca has been enjoyed as a retreat, from Aztec rulers to Hernan Cortez to the French Emperor Maximilian. And now on our final day, I'm about to get the royal treatment.
The hotel embodies all the serenity and beauty Cuernavaca has to offer, from the beautiful grounds to the graceful statues. The hotel's grounds are only a sampling of what it has to offer, and there's still the spa inside.
Orlando, your spa is so aesthetically beautiful, but what makes it unique?
What we've done at Hosteria Las Quintas is to combine ecotourism and soft adventure with the spa experience. So not only do you come and get all of your treatments and relax and unwind, but we also offer the opportunity for our clients to go hike up a mountain to the top of a pyramid, swim down a beautiful spring-fed river, horseback ride in country lagoons and mountain settings, go to visit archaeological sites. So every day we have a different tour which helps you to experience nature, get to know our culture and our people, and get some exercise. We're going to start with a facial which uses all natural products. The purpose of the hydrating facial is to combat a little bit of the effects of the wind, of the sun, of the elements, of the lack of sleep sometimes. We're going to apply a face mask along with a serum that hydrates at a deeper cellular level so that you really are getting a facial from the inside out. From there we're going to do a fango therapy or a fango wrap with volcanic Mayan mud. The fango penetrates so it remineralizes your body at the same time that you're eliminating toxins. It's called thalassotherapy, which means therapy of the sea in Greek, and it was actually established by the Greeks many, many centuries ago. We call it a wet noodle treatment because you walk out like a wet noodle, totally relaxed. It's very, very good.
It's easy now to understand why this is such a popular place with visitors. Every aspect of the hotel caters to relaxation and comfort. When in Cuernavaca, you now know a special place to go.
Cuernavaca, what a fascinating city, from 16th century cathedrals to the Robert Brady Museum and, of course, the spa treatments. For the Travel Magazine, I'm Sandra Neal. Join us again as we travel the world.